Comets can be pretty tricky to spot. We get roughly 1 or 2 potentially visible comets each year, and sometimes when we think we found one that should be bright and easy to observe, it just fizzles away or isn't as bright as expected. So they're pretty few and far between. But it turns out we've got one right now. Join us as we talk about comets and our cosmic visitor, Comet NEOWISE, in today's episode of Cabin Fever Astronomy with the Edelman Planetarium. Comets are large chunks of ice orbiting around the Sun. Most lay far away in the outer solar system, but some have orbits which bring them well into the inner solar system. When they start getting close to the Sun, their nucleus begins to heat up and releases a ton of gas and dust, forming a gas tail and a dust tail, which both point more or less away from the Sun. These tails, especially the dust tail, can be incredibly long and can reflect a lot of light, making the comet appear to shine really brightly. What makes comets tricky to spot is their rarity. Their orbits only bring them close to the Sun for a very brief period of time, and they can take hundreds or thousands of years to orbit the Sun. We even know of one comet which takes about 250,000 years to make an orbit. So any given comet is only very rarely close enough to the Sun to have a tail and be even moderately bright, let alone bright enough to be easily seen. So though the solar system has many comets, we don't get many chances to see them. Though most comets have predictable orbits, behavior of the comet's nucleus can be harder to predict. For example, sometimes a comet seems like it will be very bright, but instead it defies our expectations and just fizzles out, such as with the recent comet C2019Y4 Atlas, or Comet Atlas, whose nucleus unexpectedly broke apart. Other times a comet might be relatively bright, but may really only be visible through a telescope or binoculars. So when a comet bright enough to be seen by the naked eye comes by, it's a real special treat. Well, Comet C2020 F3 NEOWISE, or Comet NEOWISE for short, is one such treat. It recently made its closest approach to the Sun and has gotten very bright enough to be seen with the unaided eye. So if you want to try to spot this comet, you'll probably want to go out about an hour or so before sunrise, or slightly earlier if you have a good view of the horizon where you live, and look to the northeast. You should be able to see the bright comet followed by its long tail pointing almost directly away from the Sun. If you don't catch it in the morning or just don't want to get up that early, it's also starting to become visible in the northwestern sky about an hour after sunset, around 9:30 p.m. Make sure to act fast though, because again, comets are only close to the Sun for a very short amount of time. Comets become less visible the further they get from the Sun, so we won't be able to see this one for too much longer. Comets can be spectacular, and we don't get many chances to see one, let alone one that's bright like this, so we hope you'll get a chance to see Comet NEOWISE before it disappears. After all, it won't be back again for about 6,800 years. Thanks for being with us today, and as always, we hope to see you again soon for another episode of Cabin Fever Astronomy.